Hey, my name's James Nicholson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about why record numbers of landlords are leaving due to the buy-to-let crisis. What is happening? You see, rents are at record highs. That means that surely landlords would want to stay in the market and profit from that. Well, there's actually quite a lot going on that is not so great for landlords at the moment. And if you're a potential future investor, this could be the video for you to find out the opportunity from all these landlords leaving and how you can make a big profit from that. So while you're here, if you haven't done already, do smash subscribe and hit the bell notification. We're on the way to 18,000 subscribers. We'll hit it in the next few days if you help us. And while you're here, smash the like button, tickle the like button, do something with that like button. That's one of the most important things you can do to help your friendly YouTubers like me out. So do that right now and let's get some more views on this content. So, what is going on? Well, it's been a very, very strange few years. We had the pandemic, obviously, and in that time, a lot of people expected house prices to crash. Logically, it made sense. Businesses were shut, we were shut at home, but in fact, people ended up with more money than they normally had. You see, you had bounce back loans, you had the furlough scheme, you weren't able to go out and spend money in restaurants. And so people actually had record savings during that time. A lot of people decided to get into the property market. That's when I started looking for my daughters for some properties for them. And I was noticing at auctions, some of the auction properties were selling for more than if you bought that same or similar property through an estate agent. It was insane. Very hard to find a deal at that time. So landlords have seen house prices hit a peak. Last year we saw the peak, and now we've had a very, very strange time. Following the pandemic, we've had record inflation, and inflation has been sticky in this country. Other countries have dealt with it faster than we have. We've got inflation sticking around at 4.6%, I think it is now. But I know in the comments, a lot of you guys are going to be saying is way higher than that. The actual real inflation is significantly higher than that. And that really hits people's incomes. So not only that, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market, but there's a lot of things that are hitting landlords and making them want to leave. So I'm going to go through those and give an explanation on how we can counter that if we need to. So first off is Section 21. This has been talked about in the Renters Reform Act, and Section 21 means you can evict a tenant for any reason you choose. If you just want to take your property back, do some refurbishments to it, add some value, or whatever it is that you want to do, you can do that under Section 21. Now, both parties, the Conservatives and Labour, are saying they want to abolish Section 21. Labour, I think, would abolish it much quicker. The Conservatives are saying that right now they want the court system to improve, because if you are a landlord, if you have a tenant that doesn't pay you, smashes your property up, you do need a way to get them out through a fault eviction if they've done something wrong. And so, as the Conservatives have said, the court isn't up to that at the moment. It needs to have a fast track for landlords to be able to deal with problems as and when they arise. So Section 21 is a fear. Now, the reason is landlords feel, what if my tenant doesn't pay me rent? Or what if my tenant smashes my property up? I'm not going to get this property back. It's going to cost me a fortune to get this dealt with. And so some of them have just said, you know what? I'm not interested. So that's one reason. Next is another section, and this is Section 24. Now, Section 24 is a tax issue. If you own a property in your personal name, which most landlords did forever, then you would be paying a lot of tax now. The rules have changed significantly. So I've got property businesses, I've got marketing businesses, and in my marketing business, I only pay tax on my profit. I pay VAT on my turnover, but I pay tax on my profit. If you're a plumber, you get to deduct the cost, you get to deduct the fuel, you get to deduct your uniform, right? But landlords have been shafted and they've changed the rules. Now a landlord is the only business that I'm aware of that you pay tax on your turnover. So let's just say you got £1,000 in rent and you had £500 was your mortgage. You're going to pay tax on this. Now, if you're a higher rate tax earner, your tax is nearly 50%. So let's just say it is 50% to make it easy maths. You're going to pay £500 in tax and you're going to make zero. Out of that zero, you've got to pay for estate agent fees. You've got to pay for maintenance. It just doesn't stack up. So that's why a lot of landlords have left the market. In fact, 30% of landlords have left in the last few years. Now, I know when I make videos like this, there's always people that comment and say landlords are greedy, they're scum, and all this kind of stuff. Well, actually, most of them are leaving. So 30% of them are leaving. You want landlords because if you want to rent a property, having more landlords makes the rent more competitive. And because landlords have left in record numbers and the tax isn't helping, that's why rents have been going up at crazy rates in the last few months and year. So Section 24 is an unfair problem. How do you counter that? You buy the properties in your personal name. It doesn't help the old or existing properties you own, but it does help. So that's one way to get around that. Interest rates are another problem. Now, interest rates hit landlords way more than residential house owners, and here's why. When you're a residential homeowner, your mortgage payment is made up of the interest and a repayment towards the capital, the money you borrowed. So if you borrow 100 grand, over time, that value or the money that you owe, the debt, is decreasing with your monthly payments. With a landlord, the mortgages that you get for buy-to-let are interest only. They're unregulated and they are interest only, which was good when interest rates were super low. Now, the problem isn't the higher interest rate, just to be clear, because I've been a landlord for since 99, so nearly 25 years now. And in that time, interest rates were significantly higher when I started than they are today. But the problem is when we went from ultra low interest rates to what they are today, which is higher, and the speed with which that happened. It didn't allow the market to adjust or catch up, and that's been the problem for landlords. So let's just say you had a 1.5% interest rate and now you went to 4.5%. The problem you've got there is your payment has now tripled, and that tripling of the payment is the problem. That meant that rents needed to go up. That meant some landlords were unprofitable because of this tax burden they've got, and so they've left the market, and that isn't good for anyone. Next is house prices. So house prices have been going down over the last few months, or at least the last year, but not as bad as people have believed. But we're expecting house prices to go down at some point in the next few months. So that's something that we think will probably happen in 2024. Back end of 22, we had a house price drop. A lot of landlords got scared, listed their properties because they wanted to sell at the top of the market. And the fact that house prices might end up going down means that investors just want to get out of the market. And with all of this stuff compounded, lots of people are saying, this is the time for me to leave. And the last one is a Labour thing. So Labour is looking like they're likely to get elected in the next few months or early next year. And if they get elected, they said that they will put in rent control, or they're talking about it at least in a significant way. Now, this has happened in Ireland, this has happened in Scotland, and it's happened in New York, and none of those places rent control has worked. In Scotland, it meant huge swathes of landlords just quit. That meant while you could control the rent and say, yeah, look, no rents are higher than £1,000, there was no properties to rent. And that was a bigger problem. And there is a massive problem in Scotland with this rent control. And that potentially is something that could come into the UK. I'm not sure if it will or not. Hopefully you think they'd look at what's happened in other places. Ireland's got the same issue as well. It's not working, and a lot of people are being very, very frustrated with that. So coupled with all of this stuff together, Section 21, Section 24, interest rates, house prices, and rent controls, landlords, especially ones that own property in their own name, they've left the market. Now, what's the opportunity for you? If you're looking to invest in property, a lot of these things are countered by the fact that you can buy a property in your personal name. Section 24 then does not apply. Section 21, you could rent the property to social housing, then you don't have to worry about the tenants because you get a guaranteed rent. So that's another tick to avoid that type of property. Interest rates, they're looking like they're coming down. They've been improving over the last few months as well. House prices, we can't control that. But what you can do, here's what you can do with house prices. You can buy well. Find someone that needs a quick sale. Find a property that you can add value to. Then you can bring the value up and then you're protected from any drops in the market. Rent control, I can't do anything about that. What I would look at doing in that situation is looking at having my property as a social housing project. I think that would be a great solution to that. Let me know your thoughts on landlords. Let me know, do you think it's good or bad that landlords are leaving the market? Do comment below, do smash the like button, do subscribe and hit the bell. Check out some other content on my channel, including this video right here.